Look closely at how humans survive. We lack thick armor, sharp claws, or natural camouflage. Instead, our biological advantage is eusociality, an evolutionary drive to divide labor and cooperate in highly specialized groups. When sociologists study humanity, they define a society as the persistent web of these interactions. It is a large group of individuals sharing a distinct physical territory, a central political authority, and a common set of cultural expectations. For roughly 99% of human history, that social web was incredibly tight. We lived as hunter-gatherers in egalitarian bands of around 50 people, making our decisions through consensus rather than strict authority. The scale of any society is ultimately governed by its tools. Every major leap in our technological capability has physically redrawn the map of how and where we live together. Before the invention of farming, the human map was entirely fluid. Groups migrated continuously, tracking the seasonal availability of wild plants and game. There were no hard borders. Because everyone had to carry their possessions with them, accumulating massive material wealth was essentially impossible. This constant mobility kept group sizes small and enforced a flat social hierarchy, where power was shared evenly among the band. The first geographic shift arrived with pastoralism. By domesticating herd animals, humans gained a reliable, mobile calorie source. This allowed populations to swell into the thousands, even as these groups continued to live nomadically, moving their herds across wide-open pastures. As long as survival required constant physical movement, social structures stayed relatively flat. The map remained untethered. That changed about 10,000 years ago with the agricultural revolution. Tools like the plow allowed humans to cultivate crops over massive areas, generating reliable, heavy food surpluses. Food surplus meant humans no longer had to chase their meals. We built permanent villages that expanded into towns, and eventually centralized cities surrounded by strict, defensible borders. The human map locked into place. This geographic lockdown created extreme stratification. Because land was now the primary source of wealth, society reorganized into a rigid hierarchy. Power concentrated at the top, with those who owned the territory, while the vast majority labored at the bottom. The theorist Karl Marx viewed this era through the lens of conflict theory. He argued society now operated as a permanent battleground, driven by tension between the wealthy ruling class and the laborers who actually produced the goods. As these landed empires grew, the wealthy ruling classes desired luxury goods and spices. To get them, they forged massive cross-continental trade routes that connected distant societies for the very first time. The agrarian age traded human mobility for sheer scale, writing severe social inequality directly into the physical geography of the world. By the 18th century, another technological leap compressed that geography. The Industrial Revolution replaced animal labor with coal-powered machinery, shifting the economic focus from harvesting raw materials to mass-producing finished goods. Centralized factories required workers, drawing millions off the farms and packing them into dense urban centers. People were living and working in tighter physical proximity than ever before. To explain this dense, highly specialized world, sociologist Emil Durkheim popularized functionalism. He proposed an industrial society operates like a single biological organism, where individuals act as specific organs working together to keep the whole body alive. But packing millions of people into harsh factory conditions created enormous friction. Workers realized they shared common interests and began organizing into labor unions to demand better treatment and survive the mechanized grind. In just a few short centuries, intense industrialization completely replaced isolated self-sustaining farms with a deeply interdependent mechanical system. Today, we live in what sociologists call a post-industrial or information society. Our primary economic engines are no longer physical factories, but the creation, manipulation, and distribution of data, knowledge, and services. Digital networks allow information and services to bypass the physical borders established in the agrarian age. While nation-states remain central to global politics, we now operate within a global digital layer where data and culture flow regardless of physical distance. This interconnectedness has pushed political organization to its absolute maximum scale. We form international alliances and organizations that attempt to govern billions of people across hundreds of nations simultaneously. Sociologist Peter L. Berger called this relationship a dialectic. We build the rules, technologies, and structures of our society. But once built, those structures turn around and dictate our individual behaviors, norms, and identities. Because society is a human creation, a result of the tools we build and the systems we implement, its future remains a work in progress. Understanding how technology redrew the map of our past reveals that we are active participants in this dialectic, shaping the architecture of the world we inhabit.